So I just felt like doing a market watch update. So just to refresh your memories, today is February 5th, 2018, Monday. Some people are calling it Bloody Monday. And just this past Friday, the Dow dropped 666 points, and basically, investors were worried that we were going to have a repeat of things that have happened in the past, where on a Friday you get like a massive sell off or massive drop, and then come Monday, you get like a bigger sell off. And they usually call those Bloody Mondays, or some people call Black Monday. I call it Bloody Monday in this case. So basically, yes, first of all, let's take a look at cryptocurrency. So I did a video, I think like the last market watch video I did, where I do my own market watch. I think the last one I did was called Bitcoin is Dying, if I'm not mistaken. It was called Bitcoin is Dying. So right now, Bitcoin is $7,004, but it was as low as 6,976 or $6,967. So one of the important things to remember is that the American market by itself does not dictate the price of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is traded pretty much 24 hours a day all over the world. So you have countries, companies buying in and out. You have China, India, Japan. You have all types of countries buying into cryptocurrency at any given point. Now, the fundamentals of blockchain are still strong, which, I kind of feel like one of those idiots like, Hank Paulson or somebody who comes on television trying to tell investors to stop pulling their money out. When you come out and say that anytime you hear that bullshit, you know something's wrong, where they say, quote, the fundamentals of the economy are strong. That's when you know somebody's full of shit. And I feel bad because I'm repeating it. But one thing I can say, the fundamentals of blockchain are strong despite this massive sell off that we're witnessing right now. It hasn't been below $10,000 in a while. Yeah, that's right, Dodge Charger 15. Anytime you hear somebody say, quote unquote, the fundamentals of blank are strong, you know somebody's full of shit and they're lying to you. But the problem is, in reality, the fundamentals are strong. The only problem is, right now, these fuckers are selling out and they're pulling out their fucking money. It's like this is basically the cryptocurrency equivalent of a run on the bank. Like, I don't know if any of you remember when I was in banking and I was selling houses full time and I was doing refinances. There was this bank called IndyMac. And I don't know if you remember it. It was back during like 2006. George Bush, W. Bush was in office. And basically, there was a run on the bank. And IndyMac, basically, back then, the FDIC limit to your investment was like $100,000. I think it was FDIC insured up to like $100,000. And these people lined up around IndyMac trying to pull their money out. The problem was there were so many people lined up until they couldn't pull all their money out. And then what happened was they didn't have enough money to even allow you to pull all your money out. So what happened was the FDIC, right after that, they raised the limits of the insurance to 250,000. So now you're insured for up to $250,000. I don't know if anybody remembers the bank IndyMac, but I was sitting in the banking office. I was doing underwriting for mortgages back when that happened. So I'll never forget it. What you're witnessing right now with Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, just about everything right now, and it's not just these. It's pretty much everything. Like if I go to the what is it, Coin Market Cap, you'll see pretty much all of the cryptocurrencies are absolutely fucked right now. Like Ripple, all that shit, those things are done. So let me see Coin Market Cap. If I go to Coin Market Cap and we take a look at what they got there, these things are fucked. Like there's Bitcoin right here, and Bitcoin is 7,167. Ripple is fucking 0.712. Like I remember when everybody was talking big about Ripple, like, oh yeah, man, Ripple's going up, man, it's going up. And when I saw, first of all, the scary thing to me about Ripple was the people who I saw talking about how high Ripple was getting. The people I knew, they didn't know jack shit about stocks. I knew they didn't know jack shit about investing. So when I saw them getting into it, I was like, nah, I'm staying clear of that. Ripple hit an all-time high of $4. And right now it's plummeted back to fucking like 70 cents. So honestly, it's like if you've got a lot of cash and you're not worried about investing into Ripple, like if you want to put $100 in or something and you say, fuck it, I could wipe my money with $100, you can get into Ripple right now real low because it's 71 cents. But all of these people who tried to buy in once it was passing $1 and $2, those people lost some money. So Ripple is down. Bitcoin Cash is trading below $1,000. Yeah, and you're right. You're right, baby baller. Bitcoin's fundamentals, the blockchain fundamentals, are strong. Now I sound full of shit again. Every time I say that, I think back to Hank Paulson. Every single time I say that shit. So anyway, Bitcoin's fundamentals and blockchain's fundamentals are strong. So blockchain is going to be okay for a long time. Blockchain is probably going to be okay. Blockchain is the future. Now, the problem is your government, the U.S. government, they're not trying to have anything challenging the U.S. dollar's dominance. As far as they're concerned, you and your children are nothing more than cash registers. As far as they're concerned, each one of us is born with an implicit mortgage of $60,000 on our heads, and your baby's asshole is nothing more than a cash register. I want you to remember that. The government at this point will not allow anything to threaten the US dollar's supremacy. China will not allow anything to threaten the yuan. India will not allow anything to threaten their ruble. So bottom line is this. After India basically said, we're going to block that shit, everything started falling lower. But if you remember, the same thing happened with Bitcoin back when China said that China was going to put tight restrictions on it. So reality is people want an easy way to be able to move their money around. They want cryptocurrency. And the mere fact that they want it means that there's a market for it. And if there's a market for it, just like prostitution and drugs, people are going to figure out a way to get it, even if they have to go about illegal means. Now, the problem is for us Americans, we're locked into the IRS, and we're locked into the IRS. So that means that right now I'm getting my taxes and shit done. Like, for instance, like, normally I shouldn't show you this. Normally I wouldn't show you this. But you see this right here? This is all tax documents. I've got bags and boxes of fucking tax documents. You see this shit? I got bags and all this shit is my taxes. So basically, I normally wouldn't show you that. But, you know, as long as I do it quick, you can't see my addresses or anything like that, or my numbers. So anyway, I have bags and boxes. I have 2 boxes of fucking receipts from my car service. I have bags and shit of tax stuff to turn in. And the simple fact is, it's like, you can't get away with trading cryptocurrency and not paying the government. And the problem is the government is coming for their share, and they take all of the profit away from you and they use it for tax purposes. So whether that means that they're giving foreign aid to some country that we don't like, or whether that means that they're putting tail fins on cruise missiles to fire at some country we don't like, bottom is the government demands their money. So yeah, that's right. You see that shit? Look at that. I got a big ass shoebox. I got 2 of them. And all of this shit is taxes. All that shit right there is taxes. A big old Skechers box. So anyway, I lost about $10,000 today, but that's okay because I've earned a lot of money. So this is just one of the portfolios that I was looking at. It's amazing how you can watch yourself lose like $10,000 and not panic because you know that shit is coming back. So basically, you know, this is a portfolio I built on Scottrade. So what is this? Blows offs at the bottom. My blows off was trading at over $2 by Thursday, and right now it's $1.69. It's up from like 140 or something like that. I'm not really worried about it because blows off is strong, and I have 2 portfolios with blows off in it, so I'm not even worried about it. But as you can see, this is one of my marijuana portfolios, and it's trading. Everything's basically fucking red, but that's okay because the whole Dow is in the red, so it really doesn't matter. So, but you know, that's basically what it is. So I was watching Yahoo News, and then I was watching these assholes on Fox News. And you know what's so funny about this, and the reason why I felt I had to make this video? The funny thing is that you don't hear anything from President Trump. Where the fuck is President Con Man when you need him? Like, I think it's so funny that this guy, whenever the stock market goes up, like even a point, this bastard is tweeting and shit. And meanwhile, when everybody loses 1,000 fucking points out of the Dow, all of a sudden his Twitter goes dead cold. I find that very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. And meanwhile, like I'm watching on Fox News, these assholes are trying to explain what's going on. And it's funny that you don't hear anything from Trump, and then when you're watching Fox News, they're up there trying to explain, well, the Dow dropped, and now all of a sudden, the same people who would talk so much shit about the economy, all of a sudden now everybody understands what a dip is. It took a first. I want you to understand something. We're down negative 1,175 points, right? So basically, billions has just basically been erased. You see this negative 1175? Basically, what that means is that all of the gains that were made since Trump became president a year ago, all of those gains have basically been surrendered. Well, no, I'm sorry. All the gains for the year have been surrendered. Now, granted, it's early and it can still go up, but apparently Fox News suddenly understands what a boom bust cycle is after the president goes dead silent. Like president, I think it's so funny. Trump was in Ohio, and he was trying to talk to these people in Ohio about like this is a picture about Trump in Ohio. So Trump's in Ohio and he's trying to talk to these people because, as you know, I've said it before, the opioid crisis cost us 64, close to 65,000 lives last year. Basically, it's those northeastern states and it's all those people who are getting those pain pills like hydrocodone and all that, those horse tranquilizers and shit. And the thing about it is they got addicted to opioids, and now these people are overdosing and they're piling up their bodies like raw chicken. Like, you know how you go into a Chinese restaurant and they have all that raw chicken just piled up and the guy is standing there with the butcher knife chopping it? Yeah, well, that's what those bodies look like. Because, it's mostly, sadly enough, it's like mostly white people. And, white people have pink skin and everything when they're dead. So basically, these people are piled up like fucking raw chicken in Ohio. And then you get these assholes. Like, there's this sheriff. There's a sheriff, and the sheriff said, fuck that. We're not going to revive these people. I'm like, how the fuck do you get to keep your job when the guy says we're not going to revive the opioid addict? Like, if you type up, what is it? Sheriff refuses Narcan, right? If you do sheriff refuses Narcan, I've got like 3 monitors going, but I'm not very good with the video capture shit. So anyway, this sheriff actually said, fuck that, we're not reviving anybody. So he said, fuck him, let him die. This guy right here. This guy right here. Now, I want you to think about that. Now, here you got a white male sheriff, and here you got in his county, it's 95% white people, and this guy refuses to revive these people, and he refuses to carry Narcan, and meanwhile, they're piling up these white people like raw chicken, and this fucking guy refuses to help them. And I'm like, how the fuck do you get to keep your job? How do you not get impeached for some shit like that? How the fuck do you get to say, I refuse to help these people and you're the sheriff? I don't give a fuck. You don't get to say that shit. How the fuck do you get to keep your job? This guy should be fired immediately. Like this is what you're being led by. You're being led by people who don't give a fuck about you. Like, I think that's incredible. How does this person get to keep their job? This bastard should be fired immediately. Like, he should be fired. Like, how do you, that's horrible. How do you get to say, I'm not going to revive the people if they're overdosing? If he dies, he dies. If he dies, he dies. It's like Rocky 4. It's like, how the fuck do you get to do that? That's not fair. That's like evil. Like, you got to help these people. It's like 64,000 people last year alone. And we don't even know how many people are going to die this year. And you got this asshole right here, and he refuses to revive people. And meanwhile, President Trump, he's in Ohio talking big about helping people with drugs and all this, which is bullshit because you got the sheriff who won't even help you. And then he doesn't say a damn thing about the economy. Isn't that amazing? Like, isn't that absolutely amazing? This guy can come there and he's all this, like, if the economy went up 10 points, this fucking guy'd be tweeting. Meanwhile, the economy drops 1,100 points. All of a sudden, he's nowhere to be found. I just find that absolutely incredible. They're still talking about people, rioting over the Eagles win. And I'm like, yo, this is just ridiculous. It's absolutely just ridiculous. But that's all I really wanted to say because I just wanted to give a nice update because see, the problem is if you start talking about cryptocurrency and you start talking about the stock market, anytime you stop, especially if there's a dip, everybody accuses you of being wrong. So the thing about it is I'm just gonna come right out and say, yeah, there was a massive fucking drop today, a massive sell off, massive pullout, whatever you want to call it. And the thing about it is, that's just what it is. And this is February, so I do believe that things are going to go back up, but we'll have to wait to see. We'll just have to wait to see. And that's all. That's basically all I really wanted to say. And, that's basically it. But, and one more warning, because, I have a lot of people who keep on sending me emails about they're planning to buy SRT products. And I just got to warn you. The thing about it is, I've already made 2 videos about leasing and financing because I see such horrible advice being given to people, and I had to say something. But another thing, before you purchase one of these things, please make sure you have property first because it's like this. If you have a $70,000 or a $50,000 car sitting on your credit report, that's not going to really look good if you go in and you try to buy a mortgage. So if you buy like a $70,000 truck, you're gonna have to pay for that thing over a period of 6 or 7 years. That kinda is a mortgage. And when the bank sees that on your credit, you're not gonna have a very easy time getting a mortgage. And that's one of the reasons why I believe that Chrysler should only be leasing Hellcats. And it's very simple. It's because they only stay on your credit report for like 2 or 3 years, and then when the lease is over, it's gone. But if you're trying to buy a house or something, if you don't already own a house, you should leave these things alone. You really should, because these things they're drags on your credit report. Like I've been getting a lot of emails from people asking me like how they can build their credit just enough to buy one of these things. And I'm saying, and I want to tell them, it's like, listen, if you need to build your credit to buy one of these things, then you shouldn't be trying to buy one of these things because basically buying one of these things, it's a major financial responsibility. Anything can go wrong. You can bust a tire or some shit and it could cost you thousands of dollars just to fix a rim and a tire. It's like bankruptcy is dead. You can't declare bankruptcy. If you declare bankruptcy, it's not like the good old days before George W. Bush changed the bankruptcy laws. Before George W. Bush changed the bankruptcy laws because they knew that their economy was full of shit and it was going to crash. Back then you could get away without having to sell too many assets and you wouldn't take too much of a loss. Bankruptcy laws have been changed by the George W. Bush administration back in 2007, 2008, and now they've basically made it so that you're on the hook. Bankruptcy is an emotional decision. It's not a good financial decision. So I would really recommend that you don't do that. And once again, if you don't already own property and you're not secure in owning some type of property, you really don't want to try to buy one of these cars. It doesn't matter which car it is. If you're buying a car that's $50,000 or more and that's sitting on your credit report, banks are really not going to want to even consider giving you a mortgage unless you make a lot of money. And when I say a lot of money, if you're making like over $130,000 a year, yeah, you're okay. But the problem is you don't want to have these huge, like for instance, the Jeep Trackhawk. The Jeep Trackhawk, $100,000 for a Jeep that's going to depreciate and lose $30,000 of its value before you even hit 2,000 miles. That's a really bad financial decision, especially if you don't have a house. A Hellcat, $70,000. If you lease it, it's probably not too bad, but you're going to end up with an $1,000 a month payment one way or another. That's not terrible, but still, that's $1,000 a month. The bank, when they see that, $1,000 a month is basically half a mortgage because your typical mortgage is about $2,000 a month. That might actually be high depending upon what state you live in, because if you live like upstate New York, you might have a mortgage around 120, 130. But I'm just saying in the average city, you're looking at a mortgage that's no less than $200,000. So you're basically looking at no less than $1,700 a month. Now, if you have $1,000 a month car, banks are not going to really want to give you a mortgage because you've already got a massive liability on your head. So just think about that before you try to go buy something, because you know me, I crunch numbers and shit. So just think about that before you consider trying to buy any of these really expensive products. And it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's a Porsche. It doesn't matter if it's a Mercedes. It doesn't matter if it's a BMW. It's like, don't rush out and try to buy one of these things to be cool until you have a property. Once you have a property, you can do whatever you want because by then you've probably understood your monthly payments enough to be able to properly budget your money. But leasing, some people, and it's funny because I made this video and people would tell them, like, I was looking at my comments and there were people saying, yeah, leasing is a horrible idea. No, it's not. If you really want something and you want to buy it and you don't want to have to worry about the financial liability for over 6 or 7 years, there's nothing wrong with leasing at all. Leasing is actually quite good. But I was looking at these comments and some people were saying, "Oh yeah, leasing's terrible," and some people, it's like they just don't get it. But then again, a lot of the people who troll you, they don't really own anything, and they don't know what they're talking about. Like for instance, you can't some people don't understand leasing. They think that you can lease used cars. You can't lease a used car. You can finance a used car, but when you lease, you can only lease new. Now, if the dealer has a car sitting on the lot long enough and they can lease it to you because it's got like almost no miles, that's one thing. But the thing about it is you can't lease used cars. You can only lease new cars. And if you lease it, it helps you avoid the depreciation later. But the problem is you may end up paying a lot more money for your insurance. Now, the bottom line is your insurance isn't going to really, really super overcharge you, but it does help you if you lease it. It does help you to avoid that the cost of the depreciation. And I said it already. SRT products have less of a depreciation than the Hellcat products. The Hellcat products lose $20,000. It's a $20,000 haircut before you even hit 3,000 miles. The Trackhawk loses about $30,000 before you hit 2,000 miles. So please be very careful. Like there's so many people keep emailing me and leaving these comments, but please just, if you have a property, go ahead, buy whatever you want, whatever you feel like buying. But if you don't have a property, you might want to think twice before you go out and try to buy a $100,000 Jeep product.